DIY family, welcome again. So hope you saw our labor cost video, and now we're going to get into the actual material costs. We shopped around in Kingston. We did even look into getting material from outside of Kingston, but delivery cost is a factor, and you have to consider that when you're buying material, and it will get costly. So luckily we have a pickup that we can actually transport some of these materials. But in this video, for sure, we'll be showing you how we analyze the costs from the different hardware stores and what we chose to purchase from some hardware store versus the other. We saved by doing that. So you can't just run to one hardware. Yes, we have some preferred hardware stores that we shop at, but still, when you're buying the materials in bulk, if you save a little $100 here, for example, and you're buying 50 sheet of ply, that add up. Same with cement. If you save $10, it add up. Once you start buying in bulk, you need to ensure that you're getting either the most competitive price or ask for a discount. I'm afraid to ask for discount, and most of the time I get discount.
As some of you are aware, we're currently renovating our home in Jamaica. In this video series, we share our journey of adding square footage to our home. We share our experience from planning phase to finishes and all the ins and outs of building in Jamaica as we know it. We hope you follow along on our journey and be inspired to buy a fixer property in Jamaica too.
Okay, so what we did to do our comparison is that we took approximately 8 of the building materials that we wanted, and we compared this cost across 4 different hardware. So we started out with a bag of cement. How much a bag of cement costs, right? And the first time we did this was in February, so February 2022. Started looking at Rapid, and the cost was pretty much $1,300 inclusive of tax, and you need to ask if tax is included in the cost also. Then shopped around, went to Supervalue. It was $1,360 not inclusive of tax. Then Phil's, it was $1299.50 inclusive of tax. So you can see that Rapid and Soup and Phil's had pretty much the same cost. Then Dunn's, it was $1,380. In that instance, Phil's or Rapid would have been the most reasonable, right, based on the cost. And one of the next thing is that for certain items with Rapid, if you become a loyalty member, you can get discount on it. Just a little hint here. Next item we looked on was blocks. So what's the cost for blocks? So we looked at the cost at Phil's, and it was $120 per block, and that again was in March. I know that since then it went up by about $2, so it's roughly around $122 per block. We also looked at Dunn's, which had it at $168 per block in February. So literally that's $48 difference per block. We were buying 850 block. So chiching, you see the savings again, and you could even get it a little cheaper if you actually went directly to a quarry. But again, the delivery based on our distance from a quarry and where we live, the delivery cost would have added up. So remember, you still have to consider delivery. It's going to be difficult for you to move that amount of blocks without paying delivery. Then we compare the costs for form ply. So 5/8 form ply, which, boy, the price has really increased, because I remember years ago we used to buy ply for like $3,000, $4,000, and now for form ply at Rapid it was $8,161 in February for 1 sheet of form ply. Then, and that's inclusive of tax. Then Supervalue, it was $6,599, tax not included, right? Phil's had it for $5,347, tax included. I'm gonna repeat that now, $5,347 inclusive of tax. And Dunn's had it at $6,300 inclusive of tax. So right there, Phil's is $1,000 cheaper per ply. We purchased 24 ply, meaning that's $24,000 of saving if we compare that purchasing it at Dunn's instead. Then we also bought rough ply, so you need 1x3, 12, 14, or 16. I got the estimate for 1x3, 16 rough lot. You're gonna need these to form out the ply to do line up all of these stuff. So the cost at Rapid was $1,630, not bad. Then at Phil's it was $1,477, and that was in March 2022. Then in February we checked the price at Dunn's, it was $1,700. So Phil's came out a little bit cheaper, so roughly $200 cheaper, and you can do the maths again depending on how much you're buying or purchasing. You can see the savings adding up. Then 2x4 which is treated, $3,200 at Rapid, $1,700 at Phil's inclusive of tax, so almost half. Dunn's had it for $2,900. When I saw the price for this, I had to ask them if it was treated. So the 2x4 at Phil's, if this was really treated, and they say yeah, it's treated. So it was a real shocker to know that I can get a 2x4 lumber that is treated for under $2,000. So we did go ahead and buy some extra because we do have projects that we want to use them for afterwards. Then one of the most expensive or the vastly different pricing now was pertaining to steel. And I know that steel price changes consistently. Like literally, I've called at a place, get a price for steel in the morning, 8:30. I went there 1 o'clock in the evening and it's a different price. So price change like that. So for Rapid, 1 ton of steel was $251,000. This was in February 22nd, 2022. Then in April, when we also checked back Rapid, the price was $191,000. So it actually went down. So I don't know if they had old stock. I don't know what happened, but the $251,000 kind of that was hard to swallow. So we went to Supervalue. Supervalue had a ton of corrugated steel, half inch steel by the way, for $197,000, not inclusive of tax. If you add your tax, that's $200,000 too. Then at Phil's, it was $175,000, inclusive of tax. And at Dunn's, February 22nd, 2022, $151,000, $800 inclusive of tax. So that was the cheapest that we actually identified steel. And you know that was February, but we didn't start as yet, so we should have bought the steel from then. Because when we went back to get the steel, the price at Dunn's actually increased. So it went over what Phil's actually charge. So again, I don't know if they had a sale, they had old stock, they just wanted to get rid of it, but that would have been some good savings right there. Because we ended up buying it at Phil's, which was roughly about $180,000 when we went to buy it. We also compare the cost for wash sand and gravel, or gravel stone, and we looked at wild haulage. So when we calculated it, we actually utilized for estimated for 5 yards of sand. Based on our location, we couldn't really accommodate a lot of sand. Plus the delivery truck there carries a maximum of 5 yards of sand that could fit where we wanted to. So for Wiles haulage, $4,500 per yard, and we wanted 5 yards. So what we did is we worked out how much for 5 yards and how much we deliver 5 yards of sand and gravel. So 4.5 per yard for the sand, for the wash sand, 3.5 per yard for the gravel, and this is at Wiles haulage. If you want, you can also buy it per bag. So at the time, it was $450 per bag of sand or gravel, and I've bought sand recently and it price went up, but it depends. So if you don't want a lot of sand, you can go the bag route, but ideal situation is to just buy a truckload. It works so cheaper. So you just buy a truckload that include delivery, and you get a lot of sand or you get a lot of gravel and stone. But this is if you have the space and if you know that you're going to use that amount. Because unfortunately we had to buy a lot of 5 yard sand. So the delivery did hit us. Even though we had the van, but I can only carry bags of sand. I can't carry so much yard of sand. So when we worked it out for Wiles haulage, if we bought 5 yards of sand, 5 yards of gravel to deliver it, the charge was $4,500. So in total, we would have paid $49,000, right? That's for 5 yards of sand and gravel and to deliver it. Then we checked out Jamaica aggregate, which is one of the most reasonable place. So for the sand, they had it for $2,875. Then for the gravel, they had it for $1,700, right? However, their quarry is in St. Thomas, so out of town. The out of town price seemed pretty good, right? So they also don't have any trucks there, so you would have to arrange to get a truck, go out there, get the truck, come back and deliver it. So the delivery cost is really unknown. If you have a link with a truck driver, you may want to explore that route. You may want to just buy it in bulk, but we knew that we were going to make multiple trips, and in that instance the total would have been around $38,000 to get that, including 2 delivery, and that was just estimating that delivery would be around $15,000. Then we looked at Rollington. So I remember we checked a lot of places in Kingston. So Rollington had it for $5,500 per yard for the sand, and then $5,500 per yard for the gravel. But what they did is that delivery is very, very reasonable. So $1,500 for delivery. So even though the sand cost is a little bit higher, but we saw that delivery cost was cheap based on what they were providing. So the total would have been $58,000, but it did work out to be more expensive, even though we're paying more for the delivery at other locations. Then we also explored ZZ&D Trucking, where they charge $4,400 for the sand and $3,300 for the stone, for the gravel, and $5,000 per delivery. So they worked out to $48,500. So they came in the cheapest or the most cost effective. However, we actually didn't go with them, so we went with Wiles haulage. So we have been using them before, and actually met a very good truck driver or delivery man over there. Big up yourself, Kevin. Interesting story with Kevin. If you meet him, he'll tell you about it. But he was pretty good. So we built that relationship and we used him to do the delivery when we were purchasing like the 5 yards of sand. Outside of that, we did buy a lot more sand and a lot more gravel, but we went the bag route because we wanted to cut out all of this delivery costs. So the delivery cost was, in our budget, it was estimated at A, but went A plus. So that's some of the costing and some of the locations that you can actually explore in Kingston or St. Thomas. So you could look out of town, but you have to consider delivery in terms of sourcing the item, seeing if it's cheaper outside of town, but how much would it actually cost you to get it on your location or wherever you're building, wherever you're doing your projects. So similar to when you look at stuff overseas, but how much it actually costs to bring it into the country. So you have to factor that in. And what was also important for us is the timeliness. So yes, it may be cheaper at St. Thomas, but how long is it going to take me to deliver sand? Workman is here and say, oh, them want sand. Is it going to take me hours to go get sand? Or I can say, hey, Kevin, I need 5 yards of sand. How long will it take for you to deliver? Couple minutes, boom. Deliver, then move it for us. So you have to factor that into consideration. And in our next video, when we also compare premix versus manual labor versus primecrete, you'll see that time is very important when you're considering the cost factor, right? So shop around, look for deals, ask for discount, and think about where you're buying. Try to build up some relationship, and if you can buy the material little and put it down, try that, because the prices continuously increase, it continues to fluctuate. So give you the example with steel. If we had bought steel even last year, we would have saved so much money. So continue to like, share, and definitely try to explore and do some of these projects on your own. And I hope you also save and share some of your tips and advice with us. Bye, DIY family.